Okay, so it seems like there's been a little bit of a situation going on with Sameko Saba. Now, if you don't know, Sameko Saba has been in the heat of some controversy, obviously surrounding her model. She hasn't done anything in particular to actually warrant this, and honestly, she's been pretty innocent in terms of all of her actions ever since debuting. And I think people tend to kind of bandwagon on this kind of stuff for absolutely no reason. And well, she's getting even more hate, and people trying to cancel her once again over on Twitter, which I think is pretty crazy. And a lot of it is over this tweet, which is from Rock Solid, who is obviously a an account where they post memes and stuff, and they essentially put this little clip of Saba singing and saying, "Nothing floors me faster than a woman with a beautiful singing voice," and it is literally, as it is, just Saba singing.
You can ask the flowers. I sit for hours telling all the bluebirds.
So again, you can see she's got a good voice. She can sing, who cares really? Obviously that's totally innocent, right? You can enjoy someone singing, right? Is that no? Okay, no, never mind. I literally just said that I like women who sing well, and people are mad and calling me a PDF. Which is crazy, because obviously people have been attacking this person and attacking other people too over this one clip. Now, obviously, I don't think anybody's a PDF for liking someone singing. You can like literally anybody singing. I mean, I don't see, I don't think there's anything too, bad there in the post that made him seem like, I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know why people are overreacting so much to this one clip. Obviously, for example, you got people like this quote retweeting this post saying, "Whoever enjoys VTubers with characters like this are closeted PDFs, specifically men." Which again, I just don't think is true. It's true, and obviously, they're specifically going after men as well. And now, obviously, I've voiced my concerns with kind of models like this, and I think that yes, if you do sexualize it, I do think it is a little bit weird. I think I'm not going to interact with that, but also at the same time, I don't think enjoying a model like this in a, non-sexual way, just in a kind of, you just watch them, I don't think that's bad. I don't think that makes you a PDF. I don't think that makes you anything. That just makes you a person who watches content. And I think that people getting so worked up over this one clip is crazy. There's so many people that have been going insane over this. For example, this one. I don't know if this is supposed to be satire, because this is absolutely crazy. This is one of the craziest replies I think I've seen, because obviously they said, "Wow, that was garbage. Here's a real beautiful singing voice." Also, Kanye gets points for not being a PDF lover. Kanye. We're picking Kanye out of all of them. We could have picked someone, super PG, someone who doesn't have a history of anti-Semitism. Okay, we're picking Kanye. Okay, great. So obviously this person thinks Kanye is better than Saba for some reason, even though, there's a lot of things. You guys have probably seen the news about Kanye. He's gone a little bit crazy, especially with his new releases of his songs, if you guys have seen that. So again, I hope that's satire, but again, we never know with this. People saying, I don't know. But again, they keep going on saying VTubers becoming mainstream was a mistake. Obviously, a lot of people were also just blaming this on VTubers in general. And we've seen this quite a bit with a lot of the previous videos I made on Saba as well, because she's also been getting a lot of hate over on TikTok and places like that ever since her debut, which obviously, there's been a lot of people kind of, putting it to VTubers in general, rather than just Saba, which I think is pretty crazy, because again, they've been hating every single VTuber just because they dislike one, which I think is, messed up. And they've been going after other people, for example, like Iron Mouse and things like that in the comments too, essentially likening the two and saying they're pretty much the same, which, if you look at both their models, I don't think they are, but again, maybe some people are blind. I'm not sure. Again, we keep going. People saying all the miserable no-life basement dwellers in these retweets, lol. The word PDF literally has no meaning anymore because of these idiots. And as it's proven time and time again, most of the antis hating this are likely the actual PDFs, which is true. I think that is, obviously it's one of these terms that gets thrown around quite a bit. And I think, obviously it's a very powerful term that has a lot of meaning and a lot of implications behind it if you do go around calling people that. And I think that in this situation, it's just not very valid, And obviously, you can go around calling people that if they genuinely are one. But when they're not, I think it's just another one of those words. There is plenty of them. You probably know exactly what I mean. They get overused and, to the point where it almost just makes no sense. And they just like calling people that. For example, like the word like far right. People like to call people far right all the time when they're not actually far right. They're just right. Let's be real at the end of the day. And the same thing with, so many other different words and different labels that people like to add on to people. It starts to lose its meaning a little bit whenever you start applying it to everybody that you just dislike or that you disagree with, which obviously is just the kind of point that we've gotten to the internet at the moment, which I think is absolutely crazy. Now, obviously, we keep going on as well. For example, this is probably what I would say is a nice response from someone who doesn't really like Saba. I can totally understand, and me personally, I don't watch Saba. I'm not really, a big fan of, watching her content. But, this is what someone, a normal person, a normal functioning human should, be like. You're saying, not really my thing, but I'll admit she has a beautiful voice. That's pretty good, obviously, they're saying she has a beautiful voice, not really my thing, but, okay, fine. And that's all it needs to be. That is all it needs to be. That is like the perfect encapsulation of all it needs to be for a lot of people. But obviously, some people need to take to Twitter. Some people need to speak about this constantly. And it's just like, oh my God, bro, can we have a break? And also, we have this last one as well from this person named Josh. They said, how is this woman? How is that a woman, bro? Why is Twitter so obsessed with lollies? Is so weird. Now they said, how is that a woman? I hate to break it to you, but this thing singing on the screen, it's not real, okay? It's an avatar, and behind that is a grown woman. It might be hard to understand. I know a lot of people, don't get the internet. Technology's advancing quite a bit, so maybe people aren't so caught up. But there's an actual woman behind the screen, kind of contorting that VTuber model. I think it's crazy that some people don't get that. Saying how is that a woman is crazy to me. Because again, we obviously know. It said the fact that you see her singing and saying I like her singing and instantly think of doing it. I don't know, man. I think you're the weird guy here. It said, bro, the people doing it are the ones commenting on this. You retouch. Just look at their profiles. Which again, obviously, they're trying to make assumptions with this. I don't really know why. It's just so weird, they're saying the person behind the avatar dumbass. He said, first it's the PDFs commenting, and now it's some freaking lagoon creature who wants to screw animals. Which again, they had no follow-up to that. They put, this person made a good point saying it's the person behind the avatar that they're talking about whenever it comes to the woman singing. And then they went, oh yeah, but I don't like you. So, yeah, screw you. It's just, okay, like, you didn't make a point there. Saying if you think that is a child, then you're already telling on yourself. He said, so you really think that model isn't a lolly, which I do think it is, but at the same time, saying how is that a woman? It is still a woman behind the screen. It's still very obvious. We know, but again, some people just like to come up with these really weird like mental gymnastics and things to try and get around it and try to make it seem like it's bad. Again, at the end of the day, it's just someone singing. Now, obviously, if it was something, X-rated or something like that, then I can understand why people would be unhappy with that. And I'm definitely on their side of that. But whenever it comes to someone singing on a stream, this has really gotten really out of hand. I don't think it should be something that should be drama. I don't think it should be something that should be blowing up on everybody's feeds. And I think that, Rock Solid has had a pretty fair take there. I mean, just saying that, hey, I like their voice. I like their singing voice. What, you're going to tell me that? Like, to literally anybody else singing? You're going to tell that to like a child singing? So you can't say that they sound good. That's weird. No. Like, what? It's so weird. Like, anybody can say anybody has a singing voice. And the fact that obviously she is a grown woman behind the screen, obviously singing, it's not weird at all. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why people tend to get so antsy and so weird. And so, I don't know. It's just weird. And obviously, you've seen all of those replies there. Some bad, some good. And obviously, yeah, I mean, the craziest one for me is just that Kanye one. I think comparing Kanye to Sameko Saba and saying that Kanye is a better person and that he's not a PDF lover, so that makes him a better person. Again, wasn't he on the list? I'm pretty sure he's on the list. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That's on my head. I'm not sure. Again, I don't really look into the list, but hey, maybe he was. But again, I thought it was kind of crazy, especially considering all the other stuff that Kanye has done in the past, and Sameko Saba has done. I don't know. She just went live and sang. So yeah, I mean, if you want to cancel her for that, then go ahead and cancel her for that. But again, pretty stupid situation going on at the moment. I just kind of wanted to keep you guys up to date with what was going on, as I saw it popping up all over my feed recently. And yeah, I mean, Rock Solid, it's probably gone back to posting memes, posting whatever they usually do. And yeah, I thought this was pretty crazy and pretty stupid. So yeah, I mean, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also go to GameSups, use my code Kazakh, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend you go check it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. So, see ya.